1, 0, all engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 miles per hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
On July 16, 1969, Apollo 11 mission landed on the moon successfully. In human history, this was the first time for people to get on the moon, a mysterious planet that people imagined for a long time. This event was significant to the development of space science and the situation in the United States and Soviet Union. The Project Apollo was a series of manned space missions undertaken by National Aeronautics and Space Administration from 1961 to 1972. In the 10 years of 1960s, it was focused on completing manned missions to the moon and safely returning to the Earth. Apollo 11 was the fifth manned mission in the Apollo project, which was the first time they accomplished the goal of this project. The task of Apollo 11 was performed by 3 astronauts: Commander Neil Armstrong, Command Module Pilot Michael Collins, and Lunar Module Pilot Buzz Aldrin. They lifted off on July 16, 1969. After the spacecraft entered space and everything worked properly, they began their 3-day journey to the moon. On July 20, 1969, Armstrong and Aldrin landed on the moon, and Collins would stay on the spacecraft to keep in touch with the monitoring center. The task of going out of extra high-current carbon was performed by Armstrong. He left his footprints on the moon, which was the first human footprints on another planet. Then he said the words that almost everyone would feel impressed. There's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. These words inspired many people, including the researchers and workers of Apollo program, all Americans, of course, and Armstrong himself. They brought back nearly 20.87 kilograms of lunar samples, which provided a material basis for further study of the moon. The spacecraft of Apollo 11 finally landed on Earth safely on July 24, 1969. In the process of the whole Apollo project, there were some difficulties and risks during the research and experiments. Many astronauts were unfortunately sacrificed in the past missions. So, the success of Apollo 11 was based on the summary of many times of failures and the incessant development of space technology. In the meanwhile, the successful lunar landing of Apollo 11 also helped the United States draw a board in the space race with Soviet Union. After the Second World War, under the background of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, the two great powers contested for the position of the leader of the world in different fields, such as military affairs, economy, science, and technology. They had successfully developed nuclear weapons, such as missiles, in order to consolidate their military barriers. However, it was well known that once such nuclear weapons put into war, not only a country, but also all human beings will be in danger of catastrophe. The space race was also a competition for the highest status of space power in the world between the two rivals, the United States and the Soviet Union. The Apollo project became a powerful tool for the United States to against the Soviet Union to get global hegemony in scientific and technological fields. However, compared to the race of the development of nuclear weapons, the space race was conducted in a relatively moderate manner, which avoided the harm for human society and promoted the development of space science and technology.
17, 16, 15, 14,
The director of the space policy of George Washington University, John Lawson, also argued in his book that the United States regarded landing on the moon as a means of confrontation with the Soviet Union, which represented the moral equivalent of the war. This was also a way of the United States to raise its international reputation during the Cold War. The successful experience of Apollo 11 provided a strong foundation for the future conduct of Apollo project. There were 5 manned lunar missions landed on the moon successfully. There was no doubt that this accomplishment of the United States brought tremendous pressure on the Soviet Union. They stepped up their researches on orbiting space stations, which launched 4 space stations successfully. However, the huge space project brought huge political expenditures both in the United States and the Soviet Union, which resulted in the government reducing the budget for the space program and slowing down the study on manned space technology. At the same time, the relations between the United States and the Soviet Union therefore were eased. Apollo 11 landed on the moon was of great significance to human, society, and political development of the countries. For mankind, Apollo 11 realized the first moon landing in human history, which fulfilled people's images of the moon. It also became a milestone in the process of human development. For the society, the success of Apollo 11 is the affirmation and the test of the development of space science and technology. For the political area, Apollo 11 helped America to regain the advantage in the space race with the Soviet Union, which was also an important factor for the United States to get hegemony of the world.